I'm just realizing that this bookcase is a lot less steady than I thought. Like I walked around nearby and it was kind of waving in the wind. Okay, so this is large size fiction shelf number 3. The first video. Okay. I got this because I really like. Well, I got this for 2 reasons. Because I really liked Then We Came to the End, which was written in first person plural by this author. And what else? Oh, because it's about long distance walking, kind of. Yeah. I read most of this, and then I think I misplaced it for a long time, and so I didn't finish it. But I thought it was way cool. Yeah, there's extreme weather events all the time, and this guy has this condition where he has to run like crazy. I very much enjoyed it. Not run, just walk every night. Every night he leaves his house and just walks and walks and walks till he drops. I know this sort of book is called ergodic literature, like House of Leaves or something like that. A book with an unusual form or approach. I mean, just listen to these 2 reviews here. Book is a satirical comedy whose send up of literary practice is itself a lesson in how to write, read, and love books. Okay. And book cleverly outlines the ongoing battle between those who regard literature as mere fodder for fancy hypotheses and those who value it as a complex mirror of our world, a vital extension of our experience. I can tell it's multiform, but there was something else about it. I may have confused this with another book that I thought was all footnotes. What book am I thinking about? Well, this one looks cool too. I think I got it because it was on internet lists of strangest, most experimental books. Okay, the back makes it sound really cool. A few days before his post-tenure review, Professor Adam Snell, author of Something Disappears, Who Are His Enemies? What Are Their Motives? Where Is the Body? A wildly creative send-up of every literary convention since Don Quixote. Cool. Right, like this. Oh, this book's amazing. Moby Dick by Herman Melville. It's just a classic work. It's so interesting. Like half essay, half novel. Always lyrical, literary, epic in scope, thematically rich and symbolic, layered, everything. I mean, it's drawing from the real life wreck of the Essex. This book not only made me read this book a bunch, but read a lot of books about it and connected with it, like In the Heart of the Sea and all the Whale Ship Essex books. It's a great story. It's very interesting. And I read this wonderful commentary book on it called Dive Deeper that I would love to get a copy of for myself someday. I will pick that up. It's every chapter of Dive Deeper is some different aspect of Moby Dick and its legacy. And it kind of moves through it also. Like it focuses on every little part of the book. It's good. Anyway, Moby Dick is great. Classic. You know, I love whales, so it's all the whale killing kind of bums me out a little. But if you read the true story, you know that whale ship got its... Oh, I love that I own this. This is so cool. Last Year at Marienbad. This is a screenplay by Alain Robbe-Grillet. And I'm a Robbe-Grillet completist. I just buy everything I see of him. I guess I'm a casual completist. I get it when I see it. But this looks like a beautiful classic edition with images from the movie throughout it. That's really cool. It's a great way to do a screenplay. Love that. Beautiful. Ugh. If I could like exhibit this in a glass case, like a dome, I would. It's so pretty. Like, I just love beautiful books, you know. This is just kind of like getting the book out there type of book. Let's see. Oh, this is Kundera. Yeah, you know, somehow I've ended up reading The Art of the Novel by Milan Kundera several times and thought a lot about it. And so it's driven me to read his novels too and pick them up. He's a good writer. Interesting. Doing something interesting. You know, I'm not always in that mood. It's like a dramatic indie movie mood. The novels of Milan Kundera. And I like that. Sometimes. I've never read Colette, but I got this from a free pile. But now I'm thinking this needs to go on the antique shelf because it's from 1933. Look, it's even got an ex libris plate from Christmas of 1933. Yeah, definitely antique shelf. What good does it do to warn the blind man? Whoa. He was the incarnation of the type of man that all other men unanimously call a person devoid of all interest. Oh, I picked this one up from a free box. No, maybe I bought this. But I think I bought it. But I got it after I had finished my binge reading of all of Nick Hornby's books. So I haven't read it yet. But I bet it's good. I think it's already been adapted into a movie. I know it has. Sounds like a rom-com. Hornby is a writer of great feeling and warmth. Anyway, Nick Hornby's, he's just a good writer. He's a good comic writer. Yeah, this is a good quote about him. Another great play from my collection of plays. I can read more plays. I've also read a few books about plays, all the different writing forms are cool, and they're all fun to attempt, and sometimes they're just perfect for this or that form. I'm writing a really multi-form work where all the chapters are kind of varied, and so I gotta use a lot of different forms. What is a Pulitzer Prize winning play based on the story of Job? Huh. Darkness and silence as before. Okay, this book looks amazing. The Sea, Myths and Legends. I don't know where this book came from, but I bet I snatched it up so fast. A 95 reprint of a 1928 work. I think I got this at a library sale. The Origin of the Sea, Waterspouts, Phosphorescence, St. Elmo's Light, Winds and Storms, Folktales. This book sounds amazing. Enchanted Islands and Rocks, The World Beneath the Waves. Oh my gosh. Here's a book inherited from my sister's collection. Leanne bought this. Ashar Kamal, They Burn the Thistles. Yeah, the packaging is kind of strange on this one. It makes me wonder if she got this abroad. Sounds like mythology as poetry. Several times nominated for the Nobel Prize. Turkey's greatest living writer. Oh, Turkey. One of the world's foremost storytellers. His many novels create an unforgettable picture of Turkey's feudal past and present. Cool. That's how you do a cover there. It's amazing. What? It's incredible. Translated by Margaret Baton. I know I mentioned it, but in 2001 I walked across the East Coast with a group of charity hikers. We're the Hike for Hope 2001. Woo! And it was very interesting, and I've written a mini-series about it that is now, it hasn't been made or anything, but I've written it. Anyway, we would give each other recommends all the times because we were always just walking and talking with each other. And this book was always the musician John Gillette on this hike was one of the hikers, and he was always like, "You got to read the Poisonwood Bible, man. You'd love it." Because I was always talking about this fictional book I wanted to do where all the chapters would take a different form. And it's weird I ended up doing that with a nonfiction book. And he was like, "You got to read the Poisonwood Bible." I still haven't read the Poisonwood Bible. I read something else by Barbara Kingsolver that I liked. What was that called? And actually, I read a lot of this because I had a copy in my car for a while, and anytime I was stuck somewhere, I'd read some of it. But then I think someone spilled something on it, and I didn't finish it. But I will finish it. I've always wanted to read this book, Henry James, What Maisie Knew. It's a crazy premise, a divorce from a 5-year-old kid's perspective. And shuttle between divorced parents who value her only as a means for provoking each other. Maisie grows up in a world of distasteful adult intrigue and betrayal, yet her spirit remains unspoiled. I bet this is great. I know people get cynical about Henry James, but I really like that he cared to know what the canon was leading up to him, and he was a real scholar, and his brother was a scholar of religion. I mean, it's a yeah, I don't know. I see bitter, hateful stuff against him online sometimes. I don't know why literary people are a bunch of haters sometimes. I know we all have opinions and stuff, but it's it's interesting. I hate people for good reasons, not just because like their prose style fell out of favor or whatever. Requiem for a Dream. Oh man, I'm scared to read this book. I've never read this book because I've seen the movie, but I've owned the book pretty much ever since I saw the movie. After the movie, I got the book and I got the DVD of the movie. I could never bring myself to watch it again or to read it, but I will sometime. I think I'm a little more jaded than I used to be. I can handle it. Sigh. I wish that wasn't true, but anyway, Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, one time I lived in this house in Boston where we had these like days-long parties, and it was so fun. And one time the party just kept going. People just kept not leaving. It was crazy, and we thought it was funny, so we didn't stop it. And someone was like, "The new Darren Aronofsky movie's playing down the street. Let's all go." And we all filed down the street to it, and it just destroyed the party. It just killed the mood. Everybody just filed out totally depressed and miserable. And, and now I think that's kind of funny. It's just a devastating story of drug addiction. It's maybe too devastating. I'm like, I've seen people die of overdoses. It wasn't this sad. This is even sadder. So I mean, it's just like rings all the. No, I mean that was dark humor, but it is sad in real life. But Hubert Selby Jr. seems like he was a really interesting author. I guess he had crazy health problems, and writing was like this incredibly difficult physical act for him, and he would just like, expend all his energy over a day to get a page out, or less. He also wrote Last Exit to Brooklyn, which I've also seen the movie of and not read the book, so real great reader, apparently. He used this one in this essay that I wrote that was all book titles. Let's see, I might share that on this channel sometime. I am in large measure the self-same prose I write. Well, that's probably why I picked this up. Because I'm always feeling like, I am this book. This book is me. I don't know why I feel that way. It is a way of extending your life. I mean, writing about your life. If you do it for 15 years of your life, like, I've written about my life for a third of my life. That's insane. That's grotesque. It makes my whole life an Ouroboros. Anyway, I hear this is really great. The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa. This is cool. A modernist touchstone. No one has explored alternative selves with Pessoa's mixture of determination and abandon. That's amazing. This is a book on what if Lindbergh won the presidential election that he thought about running in, and became like a fascist leader in America, which is possible. I read A. Scott Berg's biography of Lindbergh a long time ago, and I was like, what a captivating story. What an interesting figure whose life spanned like all these major things, from crossing the ocean in a plane to the space shuttle. He was there at the first Apollo launch. I mean, but then he also had these like fascist leanings, not just leanings. He literally like, I don't know. He was a very eager, like, Captain America as a golden retriever type figure for a while there. He literally went and like bombed Japan at one point. He's like, can I just go do things unofficially? But he wouldn't against Germany. In fact, he was awarded like this Medal of Valor from Germany, and it was a high honor. And he and his wife wrote this nasty, dumb book called The Scum on the Wave, I think it was called. And like Amar Lindbergh's a really good writer and has written other good stuff like The Gift of the Sea, that's like beautiful nature writing and thoughtful, personal, introspective stuff. But like they really thought that, like, I don't know, they were totally Nazi sympathizers, if not closet Nazis. I don't know. Definitely Charles Lindbergh was. They said that all the unpleasant aspects of it was just like the scum on a wave, but the wave itself was good, the things that were changing. So here's Philip Roth's like, Nightmare Made Real of if that had happened. This has since been turned into a miniseries. I watched a couple episodes. I had the chance, and it was engaging. I was drawn into it. And I've read some of this. It's an interesting and worrisome premise. And if you read about Charles Lindbergh, I mean, it seems very, plausible. Here's a biographical novel about Joe Hill, the activist, by Wallace Stegner. Billy Bragg has a song about Joe Hill, and I think that's what first put him on my radar. In 1915, Joe Hill was executed for the alleged murder of a Salt Lake City businessman. Whoa. Organizer, agitator, labor songster, a rebel from the skin inwards. Wow. I've read quite a bit of Wallace Stegner, but mostly nonfiction. He's a good writer who he's really like internalized the part of the world we call the West now, and synthesizes and reflects on it really well. It's in his blood, you can tell, and I think that, I don't know, I really like a strong sense of place and work, and his book on John Wesley Powell and the opening of the West was really good, and like a key to understanding major stuff about America. He, like about how water works out here is kind of how the country works, and he, anyway, that's a good book. And he's got a few other things. I also have a book called Why I Don't Read Wallace Stegner by a Native American woman. And so there is criticism there as well. But I don't know. I feel like Wallace Stegner overall is a positive in the world that's brought good literature and a good awareness of place. And here he is celebrating, an activist with class consciousness. So, like, that's awesome. This is an epistolary novel, but I think it's all just one letter. It's somebody writing, or one series of letters. I think it's one. They're stuck, not on a flight, so they're writing to the airline. I like the premise, and I hear it's funny. John Hodgman liked it, and he can be pretty funny. Elizabeth Gilbert liked it too. Not read her, but she's quite famous now. This looks cool, and a blurb compares it to Joyce and Beckett, so yeah. Also a strange and dreamlike book. I love a strange and dreamlike book. And at once a literary thriller and a sumptuously perverse love story. Sure. Sounds good. I kind of like anything connected to mythology. You can usually draw me in, and I'll give something a chance if it's got that hook. Yeah, the Tin Drum. I have like too many things to say about this, and I haven't even read Tin Drum. This is a crazy. I thought the book opened with a quote from Lermontov, but maybe that's just the movie. But the idea is that this character represents like a fascist people, and so the character does things that seem powerful, and then the character does things that seem insane and cruel, and but the character is stuck in his 5-year-old body. He decides at age 5 that he's never going to grow up, and that's just such a hilarious commentary from the author, like this stunted child. But when I was growing up, one December, my dad saw that this was playing